a country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it. Ain't a country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it.
Okay, firstly, I gotta address apologetics. It doesn't make sense, I'm not sorry, I don't get it. The fact that he was crucified means that we're all indebted. We should demand to have a culture that doesn't soon forget it. Every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess it. Christ is king, listen up, get the message. The time is short, the deception is impressive. The church itself is corrupted and wretched. They preach about grace, no righteousness expected. God gaze at the pulpit because their sin is accepted. The devil calls, they don't even try to reject it. They're employed by Satan, they are tax exempted.
Ain't a country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it. Ain't a country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it.
It's neither land of the free, nor is it home of the brave. When you got people here killing babies every day, and all the Christians here think that they can get away if they throw a couple bucks into the bucket on Sunday. But I don't think that that's the way it works. He said to seek the kingdom and his righteousness first. But you wanna grab a handbag, a Rolex, and what's worse, you think that you deserve it, but the bubble's about to burst. It's time to rise, sell the cloak for a weapon. Got the sword in my left, in the right, Smith & Wesson. And I don't think it's wise for you to try to be testing. If you become a Goliath, then I'ma teach you a lesson. It's apostasy, and what the cost will be is the people in the church's state accosting me. But I'm speaking honestly, you are not the boss of me, because I only give allegiance to the one true king. And I don't care if we burn down this whole country, cause it's wretched and rusty and rotten, stupid and ugly. And I got no love for churches and preachers set up above me, cause their democracy's about to be replaced with monarchy.
Ain't a country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it. Ain't a country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is,
up, everybody? Welcome back to the Main Character Podcast, level 103. It actually is level 103 this time. I know that last week I said it was 103. Maybe I should just pretend this is level 102, and then I'll just switch them and no one will ever know the difference, right? It'll always be the same. It's like, oh, it's a 102, 103. It doesn't matter. We'll call it whatever it is. Holy moly, Wednesday, trash day, hump day. If you are on that Monday through Friday 9 to 5 grind, you are on the halfway point, my friends. That means there's more week behind us than there is ahead of us, if you're lucky. I hope y'all are doing all right. Let's pop in and check in on everybody here in the chat. It looks like everybody's arrived. The family's here, the Kool-Aid people, our favorite cultists. It looks like the list starts here, of course, with Wendy, Spirit and Truth Wendy. Awooga, with the customary awooga. Let me just throw one of those in, y'all. Yeah, big blimpin'. All right, we've also got Amelia in chat. Good to see you, as always, Amelia. We also have Cage Fighter. Welcome in, Cage. All of our regulars rolling in as we get started. We got Precision Rifleman. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome in. I love the two geese, the honk honk. I really got to get our honk honk back. I need geese honk. I actually have this on my agenda. There's like lists of things I'm supposed to be doing for the show. Maybe I'll get to it. I'm a busy guy. What can I say? Hey, I did update the logo looper. I don't know if that makes any difference, but it was just one big one that moved really slow. Now it moves at like a regular good old speed. Check it out. See? Destination. Maybe it should be faster than that. What do you think? Let me know in the chat. Is it going slow or is it fast enough? I don't know. But now it's fixed. I can speed it up or slow it down, but it's like there's not a giant gap before another one. Like I don't even think the first one finishes before the next one starts, which is what we need, right? Because we're talking about like continuity here. All right? Is it? Yep. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. See? So it restarts. We don't have a blank spot. So we can adjust the speed as we go. You know what I'm saying? We'll handle that with Casa Bridge when we get there. We got Lisa Hall. Good to see you. Lisa, welcome in. We've also got Little Seasoned and Spicy. That's Jenny Layton. Welcome in, Jenny. Good to have you with us. We got Blake Higgins. Yo, let's go. At least it said yo this time and not whatever. It like translates what people are saying into something else. I think last week Giant Tree was like yo and it said something else. It was like bass or something. If you type honk honk, it'll say bass like half the time. I don't know what that is. He was doing it last week. We got Tim West. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome in. everybody gearing up. We got some cool stuff to talk about. We'll try to get to all of it. I actually have stuff to talk about. It's not just me screaming about execution or whatever this week. I don't know if I said hi to you, Precision Rifleman. I think I did. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, you were the one with the ducks, the geese. We got here 626. That's who I haven't said hi to yet. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome in. And Pam Crane made it in. Good to have you with us here tonight, Pam, for Wednesday, Trash Day, Hump Day. And we also got XP Black Sheep made it in, and Nancy. Everybody always gets in right before it's too late. You guys are great. Not that there's really such thing as too late, but as soon as we take off, there's no stopping anymore. I only say hi at the beginning because I forget to look at this thing. If I look at it, I'll lose my train of thought. Maybe I should just do I don't know, like a Q&A one time. So I actually hang out with you guys instead of just yelling. You guys come here to watch me yell. It's so funny. It's Wendy was saying earlier, like, YouTube lies about the number of viewers, and I was like, nobody watches this junk. I know that's not true, but obviously it's true that people watch it because people have negative things to say. I hear a lot of negative stuff, but I also have some really great support from some really amazing people. In fact, before we get too far down into all the nitty gritty of everything, we love the yelling. Good, I'm glad, man, because I gotta yell somewhere, and if I do it at work, I'm gonna get in trouble. I try to avoid doing it at work. All right, before we get too far in, just want to pop in and take a moment to thank all of our wonderful supporters over on patreon.com, currently /the Cult of Khan. I think we'll see if we can change the handle to like CDM or Christian Dominion Movement soon. It's on my list. But thanks all of you guys for being part of this, helping to support this channel, this movement, this growing community. And thanks for most of all your commitment to the people that are here. I see all of you guys like every week. You guys are great. I know that you make it in to watch the show even if you're late for the stream. It's late. This is a late night show. It's an adult show. You know, somebody was telling me recently that they want to watch the show, but they can't because they have kids. You know, they have little kids. They can't just like lock them up somewhere. And there's this guy screaming profanities and about the execution or whatever. And it's just like, you know, I understand. I get it. I do what I can to try to control myself because if I said everything I really wanted to say, I wouldn't even be allowed to be on this channel. I was asking Google earlier. I was like, "What can I say on this thing?" There's a term that's extremely anti-Semitic and an unacceptable term that rhymes with like pike. Okay, I would say that. And I was like, "There's more to talk about." There's this character called Jake Lang, and he's like a provocateur, I guess you could say. And he got into this whole altercation during this protest he put together. And I'm not even here to comment on like the merit of all that. But I was talking about how he's a setup. He's a plant, you know, so to speak. I was calling him Pike Langstein. Like I was saying the actual word, of course. I asked Google before the show. I was like, "Can I say that word? Is I going to get my stream banned if I say the word Pike?" And it said, "That word is extremely anti-Semitic and offensive. That will cause the stream to immediately be banned." And I was like, oh my goodness. And I was like, what happens if I say, I spelled out hard R. I was like, what happens if I say the N-word? I send it over to Gemini. And its AI's like, "You will certainly experience ban from your channel." And I was like, what happens if I say white trash? And it said, "White trash, although it is an offensive term, doesn't carry the same connotation." I was just like, you guys. Well, it's okay, because I say white trash on the channel all the time. I kind of like grew up feeling like I kind of was, until I learned what real white trash was. But I kind of see it as like it's an endearing term. Give me one sec. To me, it's an endearing term. It like reminds me of like a simpler time. It's like back when America was a simpler place. You just see like a bunch of dead cars in the driveway. There's like some guy on the porch in a wife beater tank top. You got like a dog named Gator in the front yard. A pit bull named Gator on a chain. Yeehaw! All right, I got a show to do here. Let me talk about business, all right? Like, as you guys know, level 103. It's actually level 103 this time. We've got some stuff to talk about. First of all, happy birthday, Mama Khan. I am pleased to announce that it is Mama Khan's birthday. She's turning 29 years young today, as we all know. It doesn't, I don't know how she's 29 years old today, but she looks 29. She's a spry chicken. I don't know if that's the terminology to use. I love you, Mama. Happy birthday. 29. You know, my stepdad always said that it was her 29th birthday every year. It's just kind of a family tradition we have. So, yeah, happy 29th, Mama Khan. God bless you. I'm sure she's in here. Yeah, she's here. Good to see you, Mama. Welcome in. All right, what else we got going on? Oh, I was supposed to talk about stuff since we're on like the Patreon supporters and all that stuff. Guys, thank you all again for your support. We're doing a giveaway. I mentioned this 2 podcasts ago and forgot to mention it last week. We're doing a big merch giveaway. Well, 2 winners. That's all I can afford. But 2 winners. First winner gets a Zealot t-shirt and 1 additional merch item of their choice from the CDM shop right here. Discover our exclusive range at the CDM shop. Yow! And so here we will also be debuting some new designs after the giveaway. We've got bumper stickers and journals to write your daily walk, coffee cup. You can do Peter, or you can do Destination Kingdom. Pretty cool ideas. And then obviously, you know, t-shirts, tank tops, all that good stuff. And we're getting close to the cool season. Winter is upon us soon enough. We've got some sweaters to choose from as well. Just something to think about if you want to support the channel, get some merch out of the deal. But again, if you want to be entered in that merch giveaway, all you have to do is become a supporter on patreon.com/thecultofkhan for any of our support tiers, anywhere from $20 Zealot to a $1 bus fare. Automatically entered to win, as well as if you give any kind of a donation via PayPal at it's Gmail. It's thecultofkhan@gmail.com via PayPal. So again, any donation via PayPal, any amount, $1 or more, or become a $1 member or higher on the Patreon, and you're automatically entered to win. We'll be drawing those next week at the start of September for the end of the month. So like I said, Zealot t-shirt giveaway. This is our most fancy shirt. I have one. It's actually a very nice shirt. I've been thinking about framing it so that I don't ruin it, because white shirts, you know, they're tough to keep. Trust God, take the risk, do the work. On the back, then we have CDM logo, Cult of Khan logo. This is kind of like the bridge, right between the original cult here and the manifested world domination cult. That is actually really funny because it really irks people that we're not joking anymore. I love that. Anyway, enter to win. Support the channel. Appreciate you guys so much for all that. And let's go. Another thing. Sunday service, kingdom teachings. This is another controversial entry, which I don't know why. Like, Sunday service is a really wholesome community gathering. You know, we do this every week, Sunday service, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. It's a great opportunity to get the kingdom message from the comfort of your home. Pants optional. You know, you could be sitting there with a CDM mug, enjoying your coffee, and I mean, go out and deal with like community judgment. We're a very welcoming community. Everybody knows in the morning it's very kind and open door for everybody to join us, and we're really just focusing on the meat of the word and the good substance of the great work of Jesus Christ. And so, like, that is totally different than this show. But I never advertise it on here. I never tell anybody, hey, we do church here. So if church is failing you, the church has failed the world. If you'd like to get to the gospel kingdom message without having to contribute to a failed enterprise and to be part of one that's growing and expanding every day, join us here for the Christian Dominion Movement Sunday service, Kingdom Teachings. And we're debuting our episode 4, a 4th installment in the series. It's called The Majesty of Eden. I'm very excited to share that with you guys. Last week we talked about Out of Darkness. Check it out, guys. Definitely worth looking at. And of course, we never we don't do a tithe bucket or anything over there. I would never in Sunday service be like, and if you feel that this ministry has touched your heart. If you want to support us, please consider doing so, but we're not going to ask during service. That is a free gift. Please join us for community and study of the word. God bless you. In other news, my phone broke this week, and of course, that happens. It's happened to all of us, I'm sure, but in this case, it was kind of weird. You know, I feel like there's a conspiracy behind everything these days. Maybe I'm just, paranoid and insane. I apologize if I'm losing my voice. I spent about an hour before the show trying to crack the code on Mongolian throat singing. And I kind of word. I was like, whoa, yo, wow, or whatever. I kind of messed up my voice a little bit, so bear with me. So yeah, my phone broke. And it's really funny because I had this phone since 2019. It was an LG Stylo 5. Not that really matters. But it was pretty cool. It has a stylus that comes out and you can draw on the screen with it. I'm going to miss that feature. I liked that. It was good for like drawing pictures. You can't just always pull up your phone and draw a picture. Sometimes you want to doodle something, right? Maybe. I do. And you don't always have a piece of paper ready and a pen, but if you pull the stylus out of your phone and start drawing, there's some really weird stuff I've drawn over the years, like weird inventions and stuff. Like they'll eventually like crack me open and like get all this stuff when they're investigating the mind of the insane guy that did whatever he did ultimately. And they'll be looking at this stuff and there's gonna be like strange cryptic writings and weird. Maybe we should do an episode of that, like a journey into the mind of a mentally ill man on the internet. That would be funny. All right. Anyway, yeah, the phone's broken, and it was weird how it happened. I had a random text message come to me from the phone carrier, which I get these promos all the time. So it's T-Mobile Tuesdays or whatever. Like, you know, get a free Slurpee if you have the courage to get off your butt and go down there. Like, anyway, it's whatever. But I got one that was weird. It was like, it's time for your upgrade. And it wasn't like the usual upgrade message. It was kind of like, it's time for an upgrade. I think I actually have the message. But anyway, it didn't feel threatening. I just was like, man, I got that. And then I got multiple emails. And usually, you know, it's been about a year since I got a different phone, which I have 2 phones. It's a long story, but I basically have this like grandfathered in sort of like drug dealer phone network thing. I don't know if that's the best way to put it. I have Metro PCS, which is a product of T-Mobile, and a long time ago, I had one phone, $50 a month, unlimited talk, text, data, no big deal. Then they did this weird promotion where it's like, add a line, and it was like, the product it's free, $15 value, ad free. It's weird. I only pay $50 a month, but I have 2 phones, unlimited talk, text, and data. It's a very interesting, like, configuration. Anyway, I don't want to go in there and be like, can I get an upgrade? And then they look and they'll be like, you're not supposed to have this. And they turn it off. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting away with something, I think, for now. I probably shouldn't have announced it. But anyway, I started getting these notifications that it was time for an upgrade on the old phone. And that's a 2019 phone. Keep in mind the date on that, I think, is important here. Because I think that after 2020, you know, when all that stuff happened, which I don't think I have to be that ambiguous about it anymore. I think the cat's out of the bag because I see all these channels just talking about, well, the vaccine was like, they'll just say whatever they want. In fact, we'll touch on a little bit of that tonight too. But nevertheless, my phone died and I needed to get a new phone, and it was weird what happened. So it started with this, like, I couldn't get service at my house only. I would leave my house, and if I got far enough away from my house, the service would come back. That was the first thing that was weird. So I started getting these messages about upgrade, and then my phone started acting weird service-wise. Like, oh, no service, just at home. And I would be like on the phone at my house on Wi-Fi calling. I'd leave in the car, and the call would drop indefinitely until I got like 4 miles away from my house. Because it was like a dead zone where I live. I thought that was weird. The other phone worked too, right? 2 phones, same plan. One gets service, one doesn't sometimes. I thought that was weird. It was very location-oriented. And then it just got to the point where one day, a couple days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, it just no service at all. So I went through all the ropes. I reset the network providers, and like I did everything you can do. Even to the point where I opened it up on the desk and I took it apart. I watched some videos. It's not overcomplicated to get it apart. I was looking for a loose connection on an antenna, like a cellular antenna. Anyway, it turns out it's integrated into the board at this later last edition model of that phone. And so there's no actual way to fix it as like a layman. Like I'm sure if I had like a microscope and I was doing like the micro soldering or whatever, I could fix it. But that's not happening. Okay, the phone's broken. But I just thought it was oddly suspicious that I got all that weird activity where it was like, you need a new upgrade. And then it started acting weird. And I literally think they just scrambled my phone. I know you'll think I'm stupid or say I'm dumb. And it's like, what? So that you'll buy a new phone? Like, what is that where they're scrambling people's phones and destroying their phone antennas so that they'll have to buy a new phone for what, $200 at Metro PCS? Like seems like not worth the cost of the multi-billion-dollar phone scrambling architecture or whatever they would have to build. But that's not really what I think it is. I think that after a certain time they started manufacturing all these. This is not a 5G phone. That's, I think, another thing to consider. All the phones now are 5G, and they've all had new chipsets developed post COVID-19. And whatever they've done to the public, whatever they did to and we can talk about, I mean, in depth about, you know, we had a whole episode where we talked about radiation poisoning and in fact, there's a page that we put together where we drew all these correlations between the advancement of new radio technology and a pandemic outbreak of flu-like symptoms, which basically draws a direct connection between every time they put out a new layer of Wi-Fi or radio interference infrastructure architecture stuff, it causes people to get sick and maybe go through an adjustment period, perhaps, until they get used to that frequency disruption and then can kind of go on with their lives. And I'm sure some people, it kills them. So I'm not laughing about it, but I think that's probably why the flu deaths are so big whenever. And again, I'm allowed to be a conspiracy theorist now because the cat's out of the bag on YouTube, I guess. Everyone's screaming about Jews and whatever. And we was-a-re and whatever else. So I can say whatever I want now too. Look at that. But yeah, anyway, so I think that was just a ploy to get me onto another new 5G phone. But I was in my room earlier, like I said, practicing my throat singing. And then I stopped and I kind of looked around and I had this moment where I was looking at the stuffed animals behind me. You know, we've got, there's a couple of geese, Honk and Honk, and Peter Griffin, and not like Peter Griffin from Family Guy, but like, you know, the Griffin named Peter. And Panda, Ceiling Fan Man Panda. And I'm like, what if the eyes are secretly cameras and the feds are watching me right now? And I was like spinning around in my chair and acting like a crazy person. And then I was holding up middle fingers and I was like, watch this, watch this. I was like, just acting crazy because I was like, there, look at it. He's like, oh, you want to tune in on this? Then tune in on this, you son of a bitch. So anyway, I feel kind of bad that we've gone this far. I actually missed the most important thing. I have like an opening dialogue that I missed because I got distracted. Not that it's a bad thing. It was my mom's birthday. But I wanted to say, because it's so important, that we believe on this channel that you can't have the truth without the way, the truth, and the life. And that is Christ Jesus. And we believe that Jesus Christ is alive today. No, we know that Jesus Christ is alive today and King today. Destination Kingdom, amen. Anyway, I forgot to say that, and it's important to get said. I've had many episodes where I didn't announce he is alive today and King today. We know it. Like, I'm gonna start just saying it because I want the world to hear it. I want other people to say it too. I encourage you to say he is alive today and King today. Every day, say it because it's true. Speak it into the world. Let the world hear the truth. Whether it's just in your own backyard, like I'll sometimes go out there and I'll yell stuff. I learned this thing, you guys know about this, the Bible says to preach the gospel to all of God's creatures. And sometimes I got like a bug, like there's like an insect on the end of a stick that I'm rescuing. I'm like, did you know that Jesus Christ is alive today and King today? And I was like, he died to absolve the sins of man. Not that you're guilty of anything. I'm like, you didn't do anything in particular. I'm not sure that you need absolution yourself, but I have these conversations. I'll do it to the cat. I was doing it to a deer. It's actually funny. It almost feels like you're doing something. I encourage you to preach the gospel to all of God's creatures, like not even just people. Preach it to some animals and trees and stuff, and see what happens, man. I'm not going to say anything else. Just do that and see what happens. It's some crazy. The world is crazy. God is good. Anyway, let's go on to some good stuff. Let's talk about what's happening in the world right now. We've got let's see actually, I've got an audible before we get to the goodies. This one was sent to me by Wendy, like right before the show. And I was like, this is the opener for the show. Let's go. Check it out.
Midnight. Something evil's lurking in the dark. You feel a cold hand. The devil is trying to stop your heart. So close your eyes and realize this is not imagination. And all the while, the King of Kings, he wants your very life. Your very life. His name is Jesus. Jesus Christ bled and died and rose just to give eternal life. His name is Jesus Christ, bled and died and rose to bring you eternal life. Close.
Ooh, that thing gave me so much joy. I pray that all of you guys are able to appreciate that as much as I was. That is funny. Ooh. Good stuff. We need more of that energy, man. That is kingdom quality right there. I don't care what anybody says. If you feel that, when that happens, that's what the kingdom feels like right there. Woo-wee. Love it. All right, so let's get to brass tacks here, where it gets unfun. It's now boring. It's where you get all the crap. All right, blood moon eclipse. dun, dun, like cue spooky music. It's not often that 3.6 billion people, or 44.4% of the world's population, look at the same thing at the same time. And it's not often that something comes along that's worth the attention of all those billions. But that will happen on the evening of August 27th, when much of the world will be able to witness a blood moon lunar eclipse, during which 96% of the face of the full moon will fall into Earth's shadow, glowing a deep orange red in the process. Now we're going to go on to listen to Robert Maxwell's version of history, Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, the satanic pedophile version of history. Astronomical things. On average, lunar eclipses occur 2 to 3 times per year. I don't know. Earth's atmosphere flying through the cosmos at the speed of 666,000 satanic miles per hour. Somehow it all lines up. The moon's like flying around in a circle at the same time that it's red. Like, oh man, that is. I'm just gonna leave it at that. The August 27th through 28th in the night, the blood moon eclipse. Be there. I don't even. It says it's supposed to be suspenseful. We'll see. It'll be cool. They say that it should be red. It should be red, bro. There's some actual, there's some stuff on the agenda tonight. I don't know if I'm going to be able to even share it with you. I'll try. I'm going to try my best. But I have a temptation to make jokes about stuff, whatever it is. And there are things on this list that if I make the wrong joke, it's probably it for me. Just keep that in mind as we go on. And I'm doing my best. Let's see. How about before we do any more weird news, world events, let's talk about body positivity. My version of body positivity, right? The body is the temple of the Lord. It is a station by which we operate all of our soul, mind, body type functioning in this universe, in this realm, whatever. And I think that a lot of people tend to either overdo it or not take their health and body seriously. And I promise you, this is not an advertisement, although it kind of sounds like that. Like I've got a sponsor. Now, today's sponsor, there's no sponsor. I actually care about things. Believe that. I've been on this posture thing for the last 2 years now. And I think it's just the most amazing and overlooked thing in the world, right? We talk about the importance of the body as a temple. We talk about what we put into it. That compelled me to quit smoking cigarettes after 13, 14 years, was just this idea that God built us this body to use, and we got to do our best to preserve it for his purposes, And that doesn't mean that we're going to have our own say in God's ultimate destiny based on whether or not we smoked or didn't smoke, but I just think we should do our best, do our part, to be as involved in God's plan for our lives as possible. That includes taking care of the machine, right, that he put us in to operate. And, so it's been on my mind a lot, not just to avoid poisoning yourself. And, obviously, if you're struggling with something like addiction, cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, stuff like that, we actually have a really awesome support group in our Discord network over there, CDM Discord. I think Wendy could probably post a link for you guys. But if you want to go in there, if you have a testimony, or if you're struggling right now with those things, we have a support group there for you in the CDM Discord. It's the CDM Recovery, Kingdom Recovery. And we'd be happy to have you there. It's a safe place to share your thoughts. I just thought I'd throw that out there since we're talking about that. But not so much on the focus of physical health in the sense of substances, food, and exercise. But really, I've been thinking a lot about posture. And posture is one of those things that you could have a giant diatribe about. But really what I want to say is that I've just been focusing really hard on not just trying to sit up straight or stand up straight when I'm walking around, but also not just front to back spinal horizontal posture or whatever, or vertical posture. I'm talking about every aspect of my body. We have to start thinking about this in the sense that we're having a mind-body transformation on our path to the kingdom. And that includes, right, it's step by step. I would give up smoking cigarettes. Now I have more of an exercise-focused life, better diet, better exercise. But now I'm looking for the next thing. What else can I do to improve my health and my quality of life? And so I've been on this posture thing, and I really want to encourage people because it's amazing. Not only can you find, a difference in the way that you feel when you practice using your whole body in equality. I've always been really, although I'm left-handed, I've been really right side biased. I've built a really strong right side. A lot of people do that because they have a dominant hand, and you'll find yourself in this right-handed world, right? If you're a lefty, you just had to make do with everything being right-handed, and you learn that way, right? Guitars, baseball, everything, it's all done right-handed. And so I built a strong right arm, even though I am left-handed with my riding. And what I realized as I got older is that my left side's all weak. So posture is not just the way that you stand and hold yourself, but it's also your posture when you're doing things. You go to pick up a box and you're used to being strong-sided. So you are strong-siding even if you don't notice. And all the time this builds up in terms of like, you get irregular posture side to side. And we don't even realize how much that affects us. But it's like I used to be a super video game guy. And I had a pillow on one side of my chair for my left arm and not on the other side. And I didn't realize I would slouch like that for like years. And it really did a toll on my back. And I would find myself struggling like with back pain and feeling like I didn't have a lot of range of motion, especially like one way or the other, like couldn't turn my head one way or the other. And I thought that I was just super messed up, but I realized I wasn't being conscious of my body. And I think that ties right into this whole idea of the importance of the temple. Being conscious of your body is not just about being aware of where you are and situational awareness. So you're not bashing your head into the side of the door frame or whatever as you're going around. That's another thing. You don't want to be clumsy, so you need to learn to orient yourself, right? Especially if you're, becoming active from a life of like sedentary, because you're not used to moving around so much and you can totally hurt yourself. I can speak to that. Being a young enough guy, the advice comes from me in that you can sit for long enough, you don't realize how stagnant you've become. And it's just such a far cry from like primal humanity walking like 12 miles a day and stuff. We're a little like far removed from the best way we can be. And so I just encourage everybody to be conscious of that, right? Think about your body. Think about the way that you're sitting. Even right now, like if you're listening to this, prop yourself up. Not just because it's right for your alignment, but think about how much more of a message it sends. And this is true. When you carry yourself like that, it subconsciously tells people that you value yourself. And I don't mean that in the sense of like pseudo-realism, like this, like body positivity, like we're saying, where it's like, you've just told yourself that whatever you are is good no matter what. But no, but you carry yourself like it matters. We can't help it if we have health problems or if you don't have access to the best options for food. Believe me, I know everything out here is loaded with poisons and GMOs and everything else, so it's really hard to balance when you have health issues plus access to the worst food ever, then you're trying to get the rest of the way on diet and exercise. It's not easy to be in perfect shape. That's not what it's about. It's not about achieving a goal that you can brag about to people. It's about making strides towards what's best for your health so that you can be the most effective kingdom citizen you can be. And you're more effective as a person when you're not in pain, when you have good healthy strides and good healthy posture. It helps you to flow. It helps you to maintain your energy and your daily life. And on top of that, people pick up on the fact that you focus a modicum of energy towards taking care of yourself, because you're like in the case of an airplane crash, right? The world is in turmoil. You're a believer. You know the truth of Jesus Christ. You got to put on the oxygen mask so you can put masks on other people, right? Like you can't just be a total giant wreck altruistically sacrificing yourself so that other people might have a decent life, because you can't help anybody else if you yourself are a wreck. That's part of the kingdom message in CDM about being, proactive in our lives. Trust God, take the risk, do the work. Sometimes that means the battle for our health. And again, not one size. There's no one size fits all to this, but I'm just encouraging people to consider that. Consider your body, consider your posture, consider the things you put in your belly and the things that you spend your time on. There might be better things to do with your night than even listening to me talk. Imagine that. Anyway, just a little health message before we continue on. I felt like it was important to bring that up because I, over the last year, have had such improvements. And the one thing that was really interesting to me was I'd gotten so used to, bad left and right posture that I started checking out like my two arms. Like I've been working out a lot. And my left arm hurts so much more than my right arm because it's weak. And you realize that you're like, oh no, I got a weak side. But that it's a good reminder that we have room to grow and things to address. And also that you're making progress. If you're acknowledging it, you're like, yeah, that's not right. We're getting somewhere at least. All right, so do what you can do to improve in ways that you can. You don't always have to aim for the clouds and try to do the impossible, but it's just sometimes the little things. Hold your head up. You're part of something important. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. God loves you. Chin up. God bless. Anyway, I've got something else to share with you guys that happened over the last, back into the the muck, back into the mire of it all. Well, what was the date on this? August 24. Okay, this one posted. Target, which is the retail giant, under fire for Halloween costume resembling racist minstrel imagery. And I'm sure some of you guys saw this, but I feel like I need to do more to really bring this in. Can I get a zoom in? How is this gonna go? Oh yeah, we can get up in that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I mean this happened, and the original gym girl, I'm not laughing about it, I just think that people were not wrong. I'm usually the kind of person who can see both sides of this kind of thing, right? Like, I can say off the bat that I don't think it was necessarily intended to be offensive. Maybe. I can't say that for sure. But what I mean is, the goal of it is supposed to be that the face of the clown is like floating. The reason it's like a black mesh suit is so that at night in Halloween, you only see the mouth and the hat. It's like there's hide and eek. Like that's probably like a character. I don't want to even waste the time looking it up because it's not that important. The point is that normally I would be like, I don't know, maybe people are being too hypersensitive. But when I saw this, when I saw the actual comparison of how it's like this kind of squares of darker material on the lighter material, and I saw the pants and I was like, that is not an accident. They're doing this on purpose. And sometimes I think to myself, like, who signed off on that and didn't for a moment think for it, like, oh, that's not gonna offend. Even I, the first time I saw that, was like, yo, black people are gonna be really pissed off about that. And I was right. They're really not happy about that. Of course, Target has pulled the item from their store in like an outstanding bout of like corpo humiliation. I actually don't even think, I think they're evil. I think they're trying to torture people. They're trying to incite people to fighting with each other. It's gotta be that. Because then you have people being like, you're so sensitive, calm down, that's not what it is, it's just a Halloween costume. They put a black kid inside it. Like, does that, because the black kid's wearing it, it's okay. I thought to myself, well, would it have been better if the white kid was in the blackface costume? Probably not. This, of course, comes on the heels of me joking about bringing on my new Indian character called Kanjay Manpreet, which is not, it's not, actually, I haven't planned to really do it. I'm just saying that will, probably not end well in the climate we're living in right now. Stay hydrated. I don't know what else I could say about this. Do better, Target. I don't know what else to say because that literally is pretty hard to you know. You're not gonna be able to convince anybody that that's not extremely racist. I don't know what else to say. I'm literally the kind of person who would literally be like, guys, come on. But in this case, I'm gonna give it to him this time. I'm gonna say I think Target did that one on purpose. I think they did. Oh shoot. Oh boy, we got one. Oh shoot, I lost my connectivity strength for a second there too, and I'm like, oh, that was it. Shouldn't have made jokes about blackface. Okay, shoot. Don't do that one. That's it. Cut off midstream for that one. All right, I got one that's actually really wild. As you guys may have heard in the last week, I guess when the last 2 days ago, Dolly Parton has passed away. Dolly Parton is no longer with us. She was one of those, you know. She was one of them, you know. I don't want to condemn her personally, but she's one of them, okay. And she died within the last week. And when I say she's one of them, I want to be like, she's a demon. She's a multi-generational vampire Satanist who faked her death and didn't actually die. You know what I mean? Like I want to say that. Like I want to say it's like a non-human multi-generational entity that faked its death or whatever. And but anyway, I'm gonna show you guys. Oh yeah, like Jenny Layton said as well, also widely considered to possibly be a man, Dolly Parton. And I see people talking about Tim Curry. That's on the list too. Don't worry, we'll get there. But I just wanted to remind you all of why Dolly Parton is a demon, because I remember 2020. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Well, hey, it's me. I'm finally going to get my vaccine. I'm so excited. I've been waiting a while. I'm old enough to get it, and I'm smart enough to get it. So I'm very happy that I'm going to get my Moderna shot today. And I wanted to tell everybody, I think you should get out there and do it too. I even changed one of my songs to fit the occasion. It goes, vaccine, 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 vaccine. I'm begging of you, please don't hesitate. Vaccine, 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 vaccine. Because once you're dead, then that's a bit too late. I know I'm trying to be vaccine, vaccine.
Anyway, I'm begging of you, please don't hesitate. One of the things that bothered me the most about this during that era was the kind of like gaslighting narcissism of everyone who was on the pro-vaccination agenda. And they treated it like, oh, you'll succumb eventually. They called it vaccine hesitancy. They didn't call it vaccine resistant, vaccine refusal, vaccine, denial. They called it vaccine hesitancy because even in their opposition position to you, when you're like, no, I'm not doing what you say, they have reduced your resistance to, you'll come around. We'll make you cave eventually. It's like this weird propagandistic way of talking about you so that everyone on the vaccine community doesn't see you as someone who has an actual, well thought out, scientifically justified reason for why you're not going to let them put weird shit inside your veins. And then, believe it or not, it's just a couple years later, I guess, Dolly Parton no longer with us. And the question is there a connection there? I don't know. I guess we'll never know for sure. But what I do know for sure is that I don't like people who have this agenda, and the world is a better place without them. Sorry. I hate to say it. Rest in hell, Dolly Parton, prolific Satanist, and probably non-human alien. I don't know. There's a special place in hell for everybody who was behind this. That's my final answer on that one. But what's interesting and should be noted that makes this a little weird. Oh man, we're just seeing some major lagging. Hopefully it's not happening on stream. But anyway, we have an article here from USA Today regarding an upcoming hurricane. And it says, experts know an astounding coincidence after Dolly Parton's death. The next Atlantic storm to form will be named Dolly, a name picked decades ago. The name could be used within days of Dolly Parton's death. And so they're saying that, like, basically, why was Dolly chosen as a name, and and endless advertisements. Look at how, like, 90% of this page is just ads and junk. Because nobody likes news. You suck. Nobody likes the news. Anyway, it's never anything good. When was the last time we highlighted babies and puppies and kittens? All it is monsters on TV. I'm over it. That's funny saying monsters on TV. It reminds me of that song from VeggieTales. When I was a little kid, we used to watch these little Christian VeggieTales movies, God is bigger than the boogeyman. He's bigger than Godzilla or the monsters on TV. Oh, God is bigger than the boogeyman and is watching out for you and me. Yeah. I'm grateful for some of the things I saw as a kid. He's watching out for you and me. We've also got Tim Curry. This one actually, I can never really translate in actuality how crazy this stuff is. But I was talking crap about Dolly Parton and that vaccine song just the other day because obviously there was some people talking about correlations between the shot and mental illness and cardiovascular issues and whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, Dolly Parton. And I sang the song because it's always stuck with me that she said, I'm begging of you, please don't hesitate. Like, I ain't hesitating. I ain't never taking it. And I outlasted you. Anyway, Tim Curry, also no longer with us. And of the two, I actually like this guy way more. I'm sure he's a very prolific Satanist. And I mean, he's known for certain roles, such as I wish I remembered the song. He calls himself Transylvanian transgender, whatever he calls himself in the song. You guys know, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. But really for me, I remember him as Nigel Thornberry from the Thornberrys cartoon, because like just how old I am. And, obviously he's the dad. He plays Nigel Thornberry. And anyway, he's a funny guy. I recently watched a movie that some of you guys have probably seen. It's called Legend, and it's kind of come up in popularity. It's actually right here. 1985 Legend. Such a strange movie. I feel like Tom Cruise. I think Tom Cruise is in this movie, isn't he? It is. It's like super baby-faced Tom Cruise, and then it's giant rubber Satan Tim Curry. I remember this. Obviously, it wasn't that long ago that I saw it, but it's funny how he likes to play the role of like a transgender guy or like a giant demon. It's like that's just who he is. Isn't he? What else has he done? He's it? Great. Anyway, rest in peace to the legend Tim Curry. You know, if I'm gonna, of the two demons that we lost during this cycle, he was the less foul. I don't know. I actually don't mean that at all. Don't take me for anything I'm saying. He's the less evil of the two demons. I have no idea. He was funnier. He held a nearer place in my heart than Dolly Parton, Vaccine Queen. Okay, so there's that. But yeah, no, it was really weird because my brother and I were talking about Tim Curry like 2 days ago, and then he died. And between the Dolly Parton, like we're joking about that song and joking about Tim Curry so vividly, like someone we haven't talked about in forever. We hadn't even brought him up except for like 2 days ago. Now he's dead. It's like, you feel like you're stuck in a matrix sometimes because you say and do things about absurd, like we'll make up, like we'll bring up random people reference and talk crap about them and stuff. And then within days they're dead or whatever it is. It's like, I'm not saying that we have some sort of power. I just think maybe there's something there. Not that we came up with it and then they killed him, but like maybe even spiritually, like there's some kind of wavelength that's going out there. And I've seen this so many times with groups of people where we were all like thinking something and then somebody put it out or somebody tied it together of what everyone was thinking. And everyone just kind of arrives at the same location at the same time. And it's like, we'd independently arrived here. I had my own train to get here on, and how are you here? We're all on the same page? That's weird. Like, is there some sort of energy in the air that we're tapping into? Is there a collective consciousness? Did I kill Tim Curry? Did I write that into the server? What? Yeah, I don't know. But it's definitely interesting to say the least. You know, Dolly Parton disappearing right in time for a hurricane named Dolly, and Tim Curry, I don't know if there was anything special about it. He was an old guy. He was looking pretty rough. There were some pictures of him a minute ago. It actually made me feel kind of bad to see him in that state. It's like, you know, I hope I die before I look like that. Like, I hope I die before I'm a basket case, personally. I don't want to end up a basket case. I mean, look at him. He was like, it's like the three eras of his life. He's like young and homosexual, and then like older and homosexual, and then really old and sick, and probably still gay. That's just what goes on in Hollywood. You'll come to find everyone in Hollywood's a weird gay guy. And so it just makes things a little awkward. He played that role a little too well for my liking. The Transylvanian transgender. Anyway, okay, I gotta change the subject to something rough. You know, it's been almost a year now since Charlie Kirk was assassinated in front of the whole world. And as you guys know, it's been an ongoing saga of whether, you know, it was really the liberal guy that did it or whether it was a Mossad order, the Trump admin, Hegseth, you know. And I recently was watching Rathbone. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but he's a pretty cool guy. He's a little too liberal for my taste. For me. I don't think he's the kind of guy who would vibe well with like a Christian Dominion movement. I feel like he's the kind of guy who'd be like, he'd probably squint at that notion. That doesn't mean I don't like him. I know he wouldn't like me, so I was like, okay. Yeah, no worries, man. But anyway, yeah, he was talking about a video with Stu Peters, and I probably should have pulled it up, but nevertheless, Stu Peters has got a pretty good spin on things. Hello, guys. I don't know about him either. He might be Jew Peters. I think Wendy calls him Jew Peters. Oh, shoot. Yeah, finally, don't get me started on Rathbone. Yeah. We would not see eye to eye on many things. I feel like he's even a little bit kind of put upon. He was not there, and now he's just there screaming about Jews. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, I hate to be that guy who came out of nowhere. That's the lamest thing next to you're a Jesuit. So I'm not accusing anyone of coming out of nowhere, nor am I accusing them of being a Fed or a Jesuit, because I don't like being called that either. Anyway, Stu Peters, again, one of those guys who's like, you're going to have to make your own mind up about him. He could literally be like, he seems like a walking psyop, but he's also kind of like, he's kind of funny and kind of like kind of lame, which I kind of resonate with. I kind of get that. Like, I'm kind of a little corny myself, but no, I'm not glazing Stu Peters. I'm just saying he put out this whole thing that it was my theory. And I'm not saying that I'm like better than anyone or anything. It's just, there's a podcast on this show from, I don't know, maybe it's not predating it. I'm not here to say who said it first. I'm just saying this is about the convergence where people arrive at the same thing. I was the one who was like, oh, Lavalier Mike bomb, AES and the Lebanon pagers in Israel and everything. And people have been drawing those conclusions, but I learned something from this Stu Peters clip that was like, for me, already kind of having my own idea of how this went, it just blew my mind. Okay, and he was talking about a flight with Pete Hegseth going out to this fort about 30 days to meet with Erica Kirk prior to the assassination, right? And then 2 days after, he flies there again on a SAM flight, which is a special air mission that only the president or the vice president can authorize. And it's like, why is he going there in this rare special air mission that like only just to get him there to what? Stu Peters' theory is that there was a bomb in the lavalier mic produced by the company Accurate Energetic Systems, which is based in like Tennessee. And this company is the one that designs little mini pager bombs and stuff. Like, they're the one. And the government got like a $400,000 contract from them for an explosive device. And the theory is that, this is the theory, right? Stu Peters' theory, that the bomb was supposed to be inside the mic and kill Charlie in the chest, but it was defective and it hit him in the neck and it wasn't what they expected to happen. And that shrapnel got caught in the ground and in the concrete there. And that's why they tore everything up, because they couldn't let an investigation get back to the government paying for the explosive device from the AES systems. And I brought this up couple months ago on my podcast because I was talking about that company. I didn't remember their name at the time, and I was talking about how they had produced these explosives and how this is what they do. This is their professional operation, is to hide explosives and things, outside of selling explosives for demolition and stuff. And I didn't know this, but apparently an airplane was tracked flying over the facility in like rural Tennessee or wherever it is, Oklahoma or something. Don't quote me on it, okay? You could find the clip if you want. And I'm sorry to do you the disservice. I just didn't have time. But the long story short of it is that apparently that facility blew up. The facility that's in question that may have produced the device potentially for the government, that may have been a bomb that may have killed Charlie Kirk. If any of that's real, okay? I'm just saying, this is the story. This is on TV right now in Masonic Theater right now. It's playing, okay? Well, 1 year anniversary of Charlie Kirk coming up around the corner, and now a lot of people are pretty much certain it was a bomb made by this company that the government paid for on behalf of Israel. Okay, maybe. But the thing that blew my mind was the fact that place blew up and killed like everybody who worked for that company. That Accurate Energetic Systems company had a random explosion, and apparently, according to the data, they tracked a plane that flew over the facility before it blew up, meaning that the government probably, in theory, in a fantasy world of a dumb misinformation conspiracy theorist, they may have just literally been like, we got to cover our tail, and then bulldozed the site because the bomb went bad, and then blew up the contractors so they couldn't tell anybody if they got investigated. Oh, man. They cleaned up all the loose ends. And I didn't know they blew up the facility. The facility it just happened to have an explosion. 21,000 pounds of C4 or whatever. Like, it just wiped off the map, killed everybody on staff. Like, oh my gosh. And so then you wonder, if any of that is actually truly real, which I also leave open to the possibility that, Charlie Kirk is a plant and he's not even dead. I don't, look, man, that was a horrifying thing. I would even be willing to believe he was fully in on it and always thought he was, and then they sacrificed him anyway because that's how wretched they are. But I think they might have actually killed him. I feel like they might have. Don't quote me on it. God knows the truth. But damn, man, it's starting to seem like, of all people, they're putting snake venom, cobra venom in the water supply, Stu Peters might be right. And at the end of the day, I think that the best argument that anybody made, it was my brother. He was talking about Erica Kirk and like, why was he even married to her? Like, is she some sort of like a Spetsnaz, like a Black Widow type honeypot that like, and the lengths that she would go. Like, she's married to him. She has 2 kids with him. If that's real, think about how crazy that is. Like, imagine the lengths you would have to go to like be married to someone for years, have their kids, and then have them killed. Like, what is happening? I don't know, man. I don't really have a solid take, except for that I know there's a lot of bad things going on, and stuff like this takes away our attention from it, and that's what worries me. Like, for instance, the Candace Owen thing. She was working for Ben Shapiro. She was like an agent of the eyebrow man. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of the most sinister Zionist propagandists in the country. He's a bad dude, and she worked directly for him. Like, how is your boss Adolf Hitler, but you're not a Nazi? You know what I mean? What? And of course, I know she's had a big public turnaround. She's put in a lot of work on this theory about Charlie Kirk, which I think is pretty viable. I don't want to condemn her at all. It's just, for me, I'm ultra paranoid. Like, this is like the zombie apocalypse, and I don't trust anyone. You're about to turn. Like, anyone's gonna turn. They're gonna turn and bite you on the neck. It's like, you cannot trust these people. Donald Trump had like half the country convinced. No new wars, he kept saying. Immediately starts a war. What? It's funny in a way, but it's like not good. And anyway, I don't know. Like, there's a lot to unpack about like Erica Kirk being a crazy Black Widow honeypot. And like, first of all, dang, Charlie, like, was he that bad with the ladies? That just like one girl showed up and he was like, okay. You didn't even vet this lady. Like, she had known ties to problematic stuff even then. That's where she came from. Her background was like, but I get it, you know. I could see why if my face was like 40% smaller than it is on my head. Like, I could see why, like, you know what I mean? Like, if I didn't have hunk DNA, he had to be there for that. They were talking about junk DNA in Wendy's video, and I was like, I got hunk DNA. Anyway, I'm just saying. I don't know. I never knew the guy. And if they really did murder him, God rest his soul. And if they didn't murder him, God dang all those people who did that. May they all rot in hell for their evil. I know that's not a very kind thing to say, but I don't care. I'm just saying, we don't know if any of these people are assets or not. Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk, Rathbone, con man. You know what I mean? Don't trust anything. Don't trust me either. I'm probably a Jesuit or something, according to these people. But no, I mean, you guys remember, this is another one that gets to me, right? When I'm thinking about the accurate energetic systems potentially manufacturing an explosive lavalier mic to murder Charlie on behalf of Israel through the U.S. government. Wow, crazy. I think about stuff like that, and I remember another one of these. You guys remember George Floyd's situation? Not a lot that you can get away with saying there. You know, some people are like, Fint killed Floyd, and other people say the cop killed George Floyd. And then I sometimes encounter people who are like, oh no, George Floyd was like a Mason and he's not dead at all and the whole thing was fake, and I can see that too. You know, the whole O.J. Simpson thing is a perfect example of that, where they stage these like race dividing crimes and they have these like unjust outcomes no matter what, and both sides find a way to hate the other side more afterwards, and no peace, no conclusions ever had. You know what I mean? Because with the case of George Floyd, it's like the autopsy says no, he died of fentanyl, but the court condemned and convicted Chauvin for it. And you don't know that the court case is real. We don't know that wasn't a show trial. That's all fake. We don't know anything's real anymore. We don't know the autopsy report's real. Maybe he really did kill George Floyd. Okay, I'm not here to pick a side about it. I'm just saying, look at how no one can ever be right. People can only be tribal. They can only pick their side, their team, their race, their religion. And it's like that with all these conflicts because they're staged. Someone's pulling the strings on all this. And the first thing that came to my mind was there was these videos of George Floyd and people were like, that's a mannequin, that's not a real person. And there was this whole thing, right? I don't know if you guys remember. There's a company called Sigma Systems Incorporated that make these lifelike CPR dummies that look like people. And they have this factory that's out there in... it was in what's the name of that city? The city that burned to the ground where Kyle Rittenhouse shot those people. This was all interconnected, remember? Those were George Floyd riots, and Kyle Rittenhouse was there on like 12 Fed cams shooting 3 leftists and getting away with it. And like, you see how this went? They vilified him in the media, and that made conservatives all angry at the media on the left, and then he gets away with murder according to the left, and so they're all evil, and no one wins. There's no conclusion. The media was never punished for the right. Kyle Rittenhouse didn't go to jail for the left. More division. And it's like, how do we even know it was real? How do we know if any of this is real? They're like dividing us every day. And I look back on that Sigma Systems and how there was that mannequin manufacturing business, and they burned to the ground during the George Floyd riots. So they put this out. People thought he was a mannequin even. And then the mannequin manufacturing place burns to the ground in the riots. And all you can say is, coincidence. You know, oh, the microphone bomb manufacturer place blew up after Charlie Kirk's death, but it had nothing to do with it. You know? And they could have very well just faked the deaths of these people to divide us, because when World War I happened, it happened over a guy being assassinated. They know that people get mad when you kill their guy that they like. So they make a guy for you to like and then fake kill him. It's the most next level deception I've ever seen, but it's been going on. It's been going on in our public eye for God knows how long, and we can't actually pinpoint. I mean, look, Tim Curry looked bad. He looked old. He looked bad. Dolly Parton just like looked the same the whole time. It was like, you know, and she got a little, there's a little more plasticky looking, a little more surgery and Botoxes and whatnot. But, you know, I didn't see a bunch of Dolly Parton's health failing her in her age, and then she just drops dead just in time for a hurricane to come. And I even had people saying, oh, maybe she is dead. Maybe they've sacrificed her ritualistically for something to do with the demon that's powering the hurricane. Like, I don't know. We had an episode once where we talked about demons being behind tornadoes and hurricanes and storms. We dug into some of that lore and literature regarding that, and we saw some of those examples of like the walking tornadoes and stuff. Creepy implications. Perhaps Hurricane Dolly is literally like the manifest demon of Dolly Parton now coming in the form of a storm to ruin the eastern seaboard as yet another distraction from the war that they started, to distract from the fact that they got caught with kids at Epstein Island. And we are still talking, we're still talking about this? Yeah, I'm going to invite Ceiling Fan Man on here, and we're just going to do a whole episode about Epstein again. Since everybody keeps trying to pretend that didn't happen, we're going to do a whole episode. If you want to, obviously, my man. But, just, you know, we talked about that. We joked about how ridiculous it was that Trump was like, hey, still talking about that? Yes, we're still talking about it, because you are not in jail. That's what's going on. And the distractions just, they do not end. I don't want to go too far into this one because this one's kind of upsetting, but as you guys have heard, there's this woman by the name of Lindsay Clancy, big time trial right now over whether or not she murdered her kids, whether or not she did so in a bout of psychosis, whether or not she should get away with it because of why it happened, and the whole thing just is an example of how far we have truly fallen in society. I know that I had the Bible verse earlier, and I think Wendy even sent it to me, but I don't have it on me now, but there's a Bible verse that talks about people being given over to their reprobate mind. And I think we read it last week in Sunday service or 2 weeks ago. And it really is a verse that people hit on because it talks about like men and women forsaking their natural way and burning with lust for their same gender type. It's that kind of a dialogue, and so a lot of people highlight the verse because of that concept, but really it's just talking about when people reject God and turn away from him, they get farther and farther into darkness and foolishness and depravity and insanity and evil, and I see it. Everyone sees it on full display. Anybody who would protect child killers, anyone who would make excuse for child killers, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Intentions don't matter. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. It doesn't matter. You could have been insane or not insane. All I know is that 3 children were killed and the person who killed them is guilty. That's the law. And we can talk later about, mental health and support systems and all that. That's a separate conversation. Killing people is not okay. You're not allowed to do it. You did it. I don't care what your mental state was. It's like if you jump off a cliff, I don't care. The ground that you hit at the bottom is still hard. It doesn't matter if you were in a psychosis. The kids are dead. You did it. Whoever did it. Maybe it was the husband. I don't know. I'm not trying to weigh in too much on it. It's an unpopular opinion, I guess, to think she's evil. Killed her kids. Wow. She's got this soulless eyes of a demon. I mean, it's time for an internet vacation. Like, if you haven't had one, I advise you to just not watch the internet. get out of here, because it's not going good. There's more. It doesn't stop. It's a ceaseless craziness. Let's see, what do we got? U.S. airman faces charges under military justice system for criticizing Trump over Iran war. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Major Jason Watson, 40, has been detained twice in recent weeks. On one occasion, he called for Mr. Trump's impeachment while in uniform at the U.S. Capitol. A spokesperson for the U.S. Air Force on Tuesday confirmed that he was charged with 3 violations of Article 88, including for contempt towards officials. The violations are disobeying orders and conduct unbecoming of an officer. The charges were first reported by CNN, and he will be held in pretrial confinement, also known as the brig. So he will stay in jail until they decide to punish him for not following illegal orders and being against illegal orders in war that's not constitutional. And yeah. But he's a hero for the nation. To be honest, like I don't care if you're like a liberal or conservative politically. This war is illegal, and it is against not only like the entire country's will, but the rest of the world doesn't want it either. There's no one but that bastard's handlers who want this, and probably him too, because he's one of them. You know, what else can you say? So yeah, Major Jason Watson jailed for telling the truth about the Zio War, the Epstein-Fury War. The war that they started to cover up for Epstein. And so they're distracting. They're distracting with deaths. They're distracting with trials. They're distracting with any kind of spin they can make about how some women are throwing ice in the bathtub or whatever the hell's going on. And again, it's always another distraction, another distraction, another distraction. Because again, now they're trying to distract you from the war that they created, to distract you from the Epstein files and everything that they're guilty on. And so they know you don't like the war, so now they give you something else to argue about. Whether this woman should have been okay with killing her kids or not. There's another argument for crazy people to argue about. How about this one? It's now been 30 years. Oh, Tupac Shakur murder trial. You know, not that we had like 30 years where everybody argued that he wasn't even dead and Tupac faked his death, and now Tupac wearing a mask is posing as his own killer in the court, and they're all laughing about how funny. Actually, I don't think anybody even suggested that that's Tupac in a mask, but now I'm now thinking it could be. That'd be so freaking funny. That is what they would do. They wait 30 years and bring out Tupac in one of those high-quality masks, you know what I'm saying? And he comes out and gets convicted of his own murder and then doesn't really go to jail. I mean, come on. Nothing's real. And the whole Ghislaine Maxwell's in jail, and then somebody like saw her in Ontario with her brother. These people do whatever they want. They have no recompense for the things that they do. But yeah, so apparently they've brought back anything they can think of. Well, what's something that really got people's attention back in the day? Oh, the death of Tupac. Oh, we found the guy that killed him. Oh, and then like, what is it? We're gonna have more aliens. Oh, more findings from the Roswell, New Mexico. Like, pick something that you've heard of over the last like 15, 20, 30, 40 years that was interesting, influential, that everyone got distracted by. Oh, gas crisis, 1980s. Oh, here we go, gas crisis. Like, they're gonna hit us with everything they've got to prevent us from unifying behind the reality that our government and world is being run by actual monsters. And enough normal people can recognize that it's a problem for them. You know, my brother and I were talking about how crazy it is, that how difficult it would be to try to protect politicians right now, and how much money they're spending on security, and how scary it must be, because they're spying on everyone. They're tapped into all of our stuff. They're totally illegally spying on absolutely everyone. And I can't imagine how many people have actual real conversations going on with their friends about how if things don't change, they might just have to be the one who takes the shot and stuff. It's like people having real conversations about there is no political solution. They probably have like 200,000 credible threats to deal with all over the country. Every walk of life, every race and color, every background. They don't even know how to profile these people. It's just anyone and everyone is like, well, they better not cross my path. You get what you get. You don't torture the public for decades and think that everyone's just going to like you. They still know. You got a lot of people distracted. They're still under the miasma of it all. But there are a lot of people who have seen through this shit, and they are mad. That's just a fact. They're mad. But anyway, with the whole Tupac thing, I thought it was worth sharing that Wendy sent me that she made this. She and I actually came up with this idea. She came up with Tupac. And then we were talking about his last name, and she and I came up with Shakur. Tupac Shakur. She shared this one in the meme group over here on the... Here, let me hide myself. She shared these in the meme group in Understanding Conspiracies group earlier. And that one's good, but I think the second one's the best. I think this is the best one. Just like, the timing is great considering everything that we're being distracted by in these days. Good old Jupaxical. And there's actually more to this. I didn't know this, but since we were talking about it, Wendy sent me an interview here that's Sean Atwood, who has like over 1 million subscribers. And I'll grab the link. I'll share it with you guys just in case you want to check it out. I'll drop it in the chat right here. But apparently, I'll read the synopsis for you really quick. It's Potash argues that Tupac was an intellectual prodigy and community activist who used gangsta persona strategically to reach and unite gang leaders for peace rather than out of genuine criminality. Socialist roots. Tupac sought to further the community organizing and socialist ideals of his Black Panther family, which Potash suggests posed a threat to the financial interests of the CIA and banking institutions. Potash claims the FBI and other intelligence services began monitoring Tupac early in his career due to his political lyrics and activism, and he asserts that Tupac was the target of multiple police-involved incidents. Discussing theories surrounding Tupac's murder, Potash references the work of investigator Russell Poole and filmmaker Nick Broomfield, suggesting a deeper cover-up involving law enforcement. So I can't say that is probably like the all-size-fits-all theory, but there's been about 3 main theories over the years, right? Tupac faked his death and never died is one of the ones, and people claim to have seen him in Mexico and South America and stuff over all the years. You know, that Tupac's not really dead is a famous online conspiracy. This is another one where he claims that the CIA killed him because they didn't want him, like, uniting gang leaders for peace. I think that's a very, like, a modern day, like, a BLM style theory. That's definitely a half-baked within the last 10 years. The government wants socialism. The government wants anti-American ideology. They don't kill people who are pushing it. They push it. The communism and socialism are the ideas that organized Jewry used to destroy Russia and all of Western Europe in the last century, and they're currently using it to destroy this part of the world. Don't think that they're out there hunting down socialists. They love socialists. They love anything that helps to erode the foundation of this place. Anyway, nevertheless, I think that the truth of it is that Tupac was probably involved in they were trying to advance the criminality. They were trying to advance gangster rap. As you guys know, NWA, all of these rappers, they all had college degrees. Even people like Lil Wayne is college educated. These people all pretend like they're a thug from the streets, and they elevate and worship this gangster community technology and media infrastructure that's all just about like enforcing in people's minds that the cool thing to be is a criminal and money-focused and sexual deviant and all these things that especially, unfortunately, the poor Black community that used to be a very Christian community in this country has been totally and shitified by people like Tupac and the influence they had on the community. And come on, dude, Tupac is a fruitcake. We already know this. Everyone in history, all these rappers and all these people that come out in the last 15, 20 years, it's all over the internet. The gay mafia, Hollywood run by gay people, everybody involved in all this weird homo stuff, and every guy has to like give up their ass for the record deal. And like, this is not a new thing. It's not a secret at all. You even got people like Eazy-E dying of AIDS and all of this, and everybody being like, oh, well, that's just because he got it from hookers. And it's like, guys, biologically speaking, that is so irresponsible for us to believe that. He was obviously over here romping around with all the gay guys at the record company, and you know, that's how you catch those kinds of diseases. That's the whole point. Anyway, that's like another rabbit hole I should not be getting into. Everyone in the hip-hop industry is gay. They're all so gay. Easy, he called them studio gangsters, and now he's not around because he got AIDS. So I don't know what's going on over there, but something ain't right. In other news, back to our guy Pike Langberg. Did Spider-Man defeat Jake Lang or give him exactly what he wanted? This one I thought was an interesting. This is being written by the Minnesota Star-Tribune communist icon. I had to do it in read-only mode because they want you to pay to watch their stupid rag. But I want to give credit where credit's due. I'm an honest journalist. I'm an honest researcher. When I saw the video of Spider-Man running across the hood of another man's vehicle, jumping over the man's vehicle, landing on a cross of our Lord Jesus Christ and assaulting Jake Lang, I wasn't filled with instant joy like a lot of degenerates because they love to see a fascist being punched in the face. I saw the cross of our Lord being misrepresented by a Zionist plant who has already been seen and confirmed kissing the wall in Israel. That's the issue with Mr. Lang there. But everybody jumped at the opportunity to be like, yeah, Spider-Man, knock out that fascist. And they shared all these memes of it and la la la. And they have done the exact thing that Jake Lang wanted. And I think that this article actually speaks to it. Sometimes the person who looks like the hero in the viral video is unknowingly helping the villain become more famous. And let's be honest, I don't think it's unknowing at all. I think Spider-Man is in the crew with Jake Lang. And I think everybody will eventually figure that out. And if they don't, it's only because the influence field is planted, and they may work for the same company and not actually be colleagues in the same sphere. So at the end of the day, media, entertainment, television, it's all manufactured. And then the number one type of manufactured TV now is reality TV. It's the number one kind of show they produce. Why? Because it's easier to make people think that what's fake is real if it looks like real life. Instead of trying to make cast beautiful streams, like beautiful shows where there's people and they're working and they're funny and it's got great lines, and it's like they think that just putting trash together and throwing it out from cameras handheld makes it more entertaining. And I guess that's been the case, because if there's a line that's blurring the reality of it, people will believe it's real. A good majority of the half-wit people watch reality TV and just think that's how real life works. And this is one of those examples. They manufacture reality for television, and they do stuff like our Jake Lang, far-right provocateur, secret Zionist or open Zionist, whatever it is, anti-Muslim guy. He's trying to cause problems in society. He's trying to incite violence and problems and whatever. And the only way we can get him notoriety enough is to create situations where the other side gets involved in the fight. If you got a guy just out here yelling stuff on the internet, it doesn't do anything unless the enemy engages. That engagement, that rage bait is how they get people off the ground. They've been doing this for decades. And what happens is, over time, average people have picked up on this and realized the only way they're going to be successful is to make people angry at them so that they can get clicks and views. And I actually think that's really pathetic. It's actually really sad, because for me, I'm regularly concerning myself with not trying to say things that inflame crazy people to try to kill me, because I'm a legitimate person who's legitimately trying to make things better. But then I see all over the internet, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube even, people who just go out of their way to post the most divisive, hateful, ignorant, but spoken as though it was true thing. There's all this stuff about how white people came from monkeys in caves 1,000 years ago. Like, the sky's the limit, man. There's all these things they call pretendians, which are black people claiming they're natives. They're at odds with each other. The Native Americans and black people are claiming, blacks claim they're the real natives, they're the real Jews, they're the real, whatever. It's just, that's going on social media. It's so unhinged that there's no way to know who's being legit and who's just trying to incite rage from the other people. And again, none of these people are offering any kind of a conclusion or a solution to any of our problems. It's just inciting it to try to get views on themselves. And I think, unfortunately, that's kind of failing these days. And I think that's where you get these staged moments where the provocateur, nobody cares. They're like, shut that guy up. Like, we're bored of him. He's not doing anything. Going over there and yelling at Muslims and antagonizing people, that doesn't actually do anything. Not only does it not actually score any win against your enemy, but it just makes you look bad. And what ends up happening is he's losing influence. Nobody cares about him. People are getting sick of people flopping around and doing nothing. We want solutions. People are hungry for answers. We can't live like this forever. We're done trying to get brownie points. We're done trying to just get a cheap shot on the other guy. We gotta survive this, dude. We gotta have a future for our kids that's not just a bombed out hellscape. So most of us adults are kind of like, okay, we're over grown men acting like children and I'm trying to incite stuff. But the Spider-Man punching him is almost guaranteed fake and designed to get him more notoriety. And only the communist libtard here has the brain to be able to figure that out. It's a bad time for the country if that's the case. And I saw some pretty widely proliferated influencers so proud of Spider-Man. That's the kind of thing we need to see in this country. And you're so stupid. You're actually stupid for thinking that. But most of the time I don't think they're stupid. I think a lot of people have a bigger social media. They like to ride the wave and pretend like they agree with what everyone else says so they can get more views because they like confirmation bias and stuff. So people are like, yeah, we all love to see Spider-Man punch that guy out because he deserved it. Absorb clout. And then say at the end of the conversation stuff like, we don't condone assault or whatever. It's like, no, the very first thing you should say is, I don't want to see anybody running across someone else's pickup truck and attacking them no matter what they say. In this country, you have the right to say whatever you want. I just see myself, someone running across the hood of my car to punch me in the face, and I see that I'm going to go to prison over that. And I just don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair that I have to be attacked by degenerates, and when I kill them for attacking me, I go to prison because I'm a murdering fascist. Fuck that, dude. Anybody who was like, yeah, pro Spider-Man, no. Down with you, bro. Big L. I saw Valhalla say some shit pro Spider-Man because he was like trying to ride the wave, and it was really fucking gay. It was really lame. Like, he's been coming up a lot lately. I try to side with Nate as much as I can because he's like Green Beret. He's trying to be the guy, but like I'll tell it where it is. I was at L supporting the Spider-Man assaulting somebody. What the hell is that, dude? But that's the point. Like, the rage bait just doesn't work anymore. So everybody's out here trying to rage bait each other by causing angst and more discord and more struggles and more problems. And it's not actually making the world a better place. You end up actually with more division. And it's like, it's not even just the people are individually doing this. You know, as I said, this has been orchestrated from the top down the whole time. Like, you look at stuff like, again, the O.J. Simpson trial is a perfect example. Every single person who took the stand in that trial was an actor. The guy and that he murdered is a Goldstein. And you know what I mean? When you start to boil this down, you realize that the NFL isn't real. And so the members in the NFL are actors. And so O.J. Simpson is an actor, and so that was a stage show. And the reason they did that was because they're trying to continue to drive race division in the country. Because black people saw that he was being they saw like as a racist cop and stuff. They create scenarios to give each team justification to act crazy and bigoted and ignorant. Because they got like, well, that one cop was racist. The whole case it's a lynching. And then all the other people were like, that guy cold-blooded murdered that blonde lady and then ran from the cops. Like, you know what I mean? Everyone and why won't that guy be held to account? This justice system doesn't work. Releasing felons time and time again, double standard for famous people or certain demographics, you know? It makes people mad. The division is real, but the instances are fake. And so we have these constantly happening in our public eye. And I think stuff like the Tupac trial, when I saw that guy they're blaming as the Tupac's murderer, and maybe it is him, maybe it's some rapper who's been going on this whole time, and it's like, you know, maybe. I just don't believe a damn thing I see on the news anymore. I don't believe a damn thing I see on TV anymore. What was it like in the movie? Is this a viral video? Yeah, it's the Jake Lang versus Spider-Man. You'll find it. It's super weird out here. And again, historically, this was a thing they did. Like, they would set up a scenario where they would create a viral moment, like a guy sitting at a table at college trying to talk. And somebody come and, like, punch him in the face or whatever. They did this with, like, Nicholas Sandman, you know, where he was, like, standing there smiling while an Indian guy was like, on that fucking drum. And then they were like, he's so racist for standing there smiling. Man, I hate this place, dude. I hate the internet. I hate the media. Everyone's so stupid because of it. Anyway, that guy was a fridge mechanic, Vietnam-era fridge mechanic. But anyway, so they slandered that Sandman guy, who I wonder what if we measured his nose to mouth nose proportion. I'm just saying, guys, Sandmanberg got $150 million just paid over to his account after the settlement or whatever. And it's just like, man, I think they just set up their kids to be rich. They steal your money through the government, through civil programs, through subsidies, through all this stuff. Remember, all the news channels are being funded by Pfizer and stuff. So all the money that the government gives to the pharmaceutical companies, they then give to the media to lie. And so all of your money is being stolen to pay all of your enemies, including random, like, nobodies who they just want to get rich. They're just like, I got to get $150 million into my cousin Sandman's family. Let's use all of my media to lambaste him and then justify a court settlement. It's so obvious what they're doing. This is, once you see through, you can never go back. You can never go back. And it gets so bad. You start to see the way these people act. They're so smarmy and evil. You know, I was watching Owen Schroyer earlier, and he was having a conversation with this guy called Awesome Jew, who I guess his name's Alex, I think. Awesome Jew. Yeah, I gotta be careful what I say about him, but there's this attitude these people have when they don't have to work for a living. There's people like that who they've never had to worry. The check is gonna be there. That there's these people who are, oh, come on, what do you mean? We're all in this together. But if it burns, I'll take my flight to Tel Aviv. Like, it's like there's this, like, it's the dual loyalty smarminess of some of these people. And it was difficult for me to watch because Owen's a really down to earth. He's really a passionate guy. He'll say stuff. He'll get all upset. Why do you keep bringing up the Middle East? We're trying to get back to America. And he's like, well, no, the Palestine. Like, they just keep bringing it up, just keep trying to talk about historical injustices, and even to the point where, because they were trying to consolidate, like, whether Owen would come back in support of Trump, and Owen was basically like, what Trump would have to do to get my support back is actually, like, practical. This is what he has to do. And of course, he was being treated like that's not reasonable. But it's like, you have to end the war, apologize, admit you are wrong, stop doing this stuff. Like, you have to actually come around, and it's just not going to happen because this is, like, part of the plan and it's part of the show. And anyway, it's just so frustrating to see these people who, they act like they're in the fight with you, like that they're going through the struggles you are, but then they consistently, like, are reductive and act like your situation isn't so bad because they're in it too. Oh, come on. I mean, you really, Owen, really? It's not that bad. Look, I'm right in here with you. It's not that bad. And like, and then back and forth between like random narcissistic talks about how awesome he is. Like, well, my 15 patents for my company, and yeah, it's just unfortunate I can't find anybody to manufacture my equipment here. I'm having to look overseas. My 15 patents. Like a guy who just cannot stop talking about how awesome he is and how rich he is, while patting himself on the back the whole time and talking about how if America pulls out of the Middle East, it'll be a bad thing. Why? Because of Israel? Because Israel has made all these wars with their neighbors and won't do well over there without us threatening all their neighbors with bombs. It's just when you see how obvious these people are, it's horrible. It's just dreadful to live in a world of such artificiality. Speaking of Jim Carrey's movies, like since we're on the, we actually should pop into that thumbnail. But you guys know the Truman Show and how his life was so fake that he started to realize it. He started to realize, like, this is bullshit. Like, these people, you don't really think that. You're not really my friend. You're not really my wife. It started to get really weird for him, and once he started to see it, once he started to notice, then it was really like, oh boy, it snowballs. Cat's out of the bag with this one. And that's really where we're at in this age, is it's gotten to the point where, like, the more and more I see the behavior of these people, these really awful people, you know who they are, so do they. I start to look at history, and I look at, if history is even true, the way these people acted as a reaction to this, like, they burned all their businesses and tried to run them out of town. It's like, I see why they did that, dude. If they were a shred of the smug, wicked, wretched people that I see right now who are on that whole Zio train, like, those are the worst people who have ever lived. If you could even call them people. Like, it's almost like you have to be demon-possessed to be that wretched and that evil. And that manipulative, too. Like, knowing that the first strike on Iran on day one was a school full of children. And then being like, that was Iran. They hit themselves. It's been confirmed that's not true. It's been confirmed that our highly accurate Tomahawk missile, and it was because they did it to strike to the heart of the enemy. They're wretched. They don't have decency. They're not a good group of people. They're an ethno-racial supremacist group, and they think anyone but them is a bug that just deserves to be stomped out if you even do anything but bow down to them. And I've seen that now be revealed in this age, and it's really crazy. People don't understand. Like, the Bible talks about the persecution of Israel and stuff, and it's not talking about them. It's talking about you. Like, look at the world today. Look at how degenerate everything is. And I know that a lot of people look at the degeneracy of today and say it's the worst it's ever been. They show piles of, like, electronic graveyards and, like, kids suffering. It's like, it's been that way as long as anyone can remember. Like, acting like that the world is only in poverty or suffering today is just so foolish. And again, the way you feel about the day doesn't really speak to the reality of the world and the time. It's just what you're dealing with in your scope. The Bible says that for everything there's a season, and there are good and bad times in your life and in the lives of other people, and it's kind of larger than we are to understand the why and how and the in-between. Like, all we can really do is be the best that we can be, to do the best that we can do. But nevertheless, like, the world is in turmoil and it is suffering, and it should be a concern of ours, these things that are happening. We should be the kind of people who look at this turmoil and destruction of our generations and think, it has to end at some point. This can't go on forever. That's, I think, really the ultimate issue with this, and it goes hand in hand with what I was saying before about the fact that people they're getting tired of this. If you have something to say and all you're doing is trying to enrage people or trying to push something, it's all a grift at this point. And it's unfortunate that people have so ruined the avenues to success, because it used to be you had something true to say, and the true thing you said was bold, and it caused people to resonate with you and people to be angry at you, but it was a natural reaction, and you were able to find the people that agreed with you in that, and also establish yourself some good foes. There's a reasonable process in order to this, because you had real ideals, and you believed in them and you stood up for them. That's like what Charlie Kirk did. You know, Charlie Kirk, love him or hate him, he was like a regular conservative guy who just tried to convince people to be and see the world conservatively like he did. Love him or hate him, real or fake, that's all he did. He wasn't offending anybody. He wasn't like going out there talking about how you descended from apes or whatever. Like, he wasn't talking about you're a hominid race or whatever the shit people say on the internet about each other. Like, he wasn't like that, and yet people called him a racist and a fascist. People celebrated when he died. And when you see people like, I mean, I saw it in the eyes of Nick Fuentes. Like, Nick Fuentes is actually a guy who says crazy stuff. I'm a guy who actually says crazy stuff. And my intention isn't even to cause harm or division or anything. But you see that if they're going to kill Charlie Kirk and have malice towards his death, and he didn't even do anything, they're going to do that to a lot of people, right? Or at least that's what everyone's expected to believe. And that's also, I think, the tragedy of it, too, is that, you know, they killed Charlie Kirk, and then everyone like just believes it's the political left because they've acted so vitriolic over nothing for so long. It's actually sad. Like the mentally ill booger eaters of the world are being blamed for murder. They didn't even do it. That's horrible. That's terrible. But yeah, I mean, I remember this back then. I can't remember who it was, but they got punched in the face on a college campus, and that gave them a career. He got Kyle Rittenhouse, and he shot those guys that gave him a career. They like establish these people through these events that take place. And then once the event's taken place, it causes the controversy. Then the person in the controversy eventually is like got a podcast and they're like making money. And it just seems so fake to me. At some point, it starts to seem like, yeah, of course, that's the natural avenue. You can't have a job now because you're that guy who screamed the N-word or whatever on the internet. It reminds me of that Kramer from whatever it was, 2004 or whatever, when he had that freak out at the Laugh Factory and was like screaming the N-word. He's like, 50 years ago, we'd have you upside down with a fucking fork up your ass. If I thought I could get away with it, I'd totally play that video on the stream. I might have done it before. Oh, man. And another example there. Kramer was yelling obscenities to those black guys. And at one point, he stops to say, "That's what you get for talking down to the white man." And I'm like, whoa, hold on. I thought you were Jewish. It's like, he's Jewish when he needs to be a victim. And he's white when he needs to make you a victim. What a horrific demographic. What a dynamic that just... Man, I don't want to live here anymore. I want to move to New Schwabenland. If you know what I'm saying, like, I want to live in the tundra. I don't want to live here anymore. And it's so funny too, because we're like learning lessons that South Park taught us again in like 2004. Where they had that episode and like, you're that N-word guy. Everyone's saying the word to try to talk about, oh, that's the guy that said the word. And losing the irony that saying it all the time is, you know what I mean? The black community says it all the time too. It's just why again? It's like, it's fine for them, not for you. Sorry. Well, then you better not say the word white trash. That's my word. That's my family pride word. I'm starting like, my what trash? How you doing, my white trash? Anyway, you can't grow by being a grifter. That's just a fact. People land on it and just leave a comment and they just hate you. No conversation, no development, no presentation of facts or data or strategies or change at all. And again, I was having a conversation with somebody, I don't remember who it was, but we were talking about all these things, like the state of the world and everything that's going on and how we can talk all about the problems, right? Like we just spent like an hour talking about all the bad news, semi-bad news, weird news. A Tupac's killer is being tried, I guess. And I guess Tupac's murderer will finally be found at the same time. I'm sure next week, the Loch Ness Monster will be revealed. Bigfoot will be found the week after that. The alien invasion will be here before Christmas. And don't forget Halloween, when everybody shows up in there. To be honest, I wish I could buy that. I know that's extremely... it's not okay, but if I had seen that on there... Look, it has a 1-star review. I didn't even notice. Somebody saw that and immediately marked it a 1-star and said, racist. Imagine this Halloween. That is the costume that is on Halloween this year. The Hide and Eek Boutique L. I swear, if anyone shows up on the internet in that costume for Halloween, they will have won the internet. If there's such a thing as a rage-baiting grift that anybody can come up with this year, it's that one. I don't know who it's going to be. Who's it going to be? Steven Crowder? Who's that other one who loves to do Gypsy Crusader? He likes to dress up as the Joker. You know what I mean? Somebody will do this. Yeah, Target removed it. I can't read the review because it's not actually there. I would. This is just, it's the news article. And it just has the 1-star review on it. And it's just a screenshot that they took when they wrote the article. So unfortunately, I can't see it. I don't know what it says. I'm assuming they wrote racist and put a 1-star. Of course, it's extremely racist. I just think intention, it literally doesn't matter, like how we were saying earlier. Like what you get is the end product is like effectively an actual blackface costume. And, you know, there's even like, look, again, the person who had the costume actor had them pose in a very similar, slightly less exaggerated, but their body parts are in the same orientation. It's actually really sick. Like I'm with the black community on this one. That's somebody delivered, and I guarantee you that's like Eastern. Like people don't know this, but like, and I'm not trying to condemn anyone, but like China and like Asia, really racist against black people. Japan, they really don't like black people, and it's just, hey, that's where that comes from. I promise you that costume was designed, manufactured, and shipped from China. And again, just gonna be a weird Halloween. I wonder what will become of this. I'm sure Pike Langberg will have a costume like that this Halloween. That's the point, right? How many eyeballs looked at this before it was approved and manufactured? So I know so many Chinese guys are like, oh yeah, it looks really good. Sorry, I almost went there. There comes a point in which I've been on the internet too long, and this week I already hit it. And what happens to me is when I'm on the internet too long, my standards start to slide because I see how bad everyone's behavior is. And I'm normally like, you know, we have an important message here. In the midst of all the hilarity and chaos, mentally, all the ramblings of a mentally ill man on the internet, and to some degree, I am seriously trying to bring people together. I'm sure I'm doing great now. The point is that there is a solution to all this stuff, really. And it's not a final solution. Well, it could be seen as one, but it's not the final solution. But no, legitimately, I mean, for whatever it is, you know, an O.J. Simpson thing or a blackface costume or, you know, the murder of Tupac, or whether it's the Lindsay Clancy murder trial or, you know, Tim Curry and his career, or Dolly Parton, her vaccine propaganda. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now that has a lot of people feeling like we're cooked. And, you know, I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. It's looking pretty bleak, right? But, you know, I'm a firm believer of that Harvey Dent quote. You know, the night is always darkest before the dawn. And, you know, I wore my Never Go Full Pretard shirt tonight because, of course, I have to make sure people understand I'm not a preterist. I do not believe that all the Bible prophecy is complete. I don't think we're living in new heaven and new earth, at least not a finished one, not a healed one, not a resolved one. And I think people try to present me as that to try to make me look stupid or whatever. And it's, you know, normal people who are honest, who see them doing that, know that they're being dishonest, because nobody thinks that I think we're in heaven and new earth, or crying out loud. There's nobody who thinks that. I don't think I've met a preterist who actually thinks that we're in new heaven and new earth, except that maybe they think the old world, old order has passed away, in the sense that we're on the way to new heaven and new earth. And I resonate with that. I think that as someone who thinks that the archaeological evidence is sound, as well as the biblical prophecy, I think primarily the biblical prophecy, you know, you take away your feelings about the time you're living in and you look at the actual prophecy, it's like David comes, and then after David, Gog. That's the Ezekiel prophecy. David is Jesus, obviously. And you look at Revelation, it's Jesus comes, and then Gog. The timeline's very good. We had a great episode on it. I encourage you to watch it again if you haven't. But nevertheless, I didn't come to that conclusion because I think that I like that sound more. That's what the Bible says, okay? And I had to really deal with my own dissonance to kind of accept it. But then once you realize it makes sense, like there was a kingdom on earth, it was advanced, it's blown up. Why is it blown up? You explain that to me. People want to say, 250 years of warfare and ransacking it. Maybe. I used to think that. But you can't really get central, widespread destruction without a widespread event. And it's pretty indicative, like flooding rains and brimstone, and it's where you get a ransacked old. Well, how do you disconnect, right? You had this kingdom, prosperity, everything was good. One day Jesus and his saints just vanished, and at that moment the whole society just immediately descended into chaos and everyone killed each other. No, I think that the people gradually rose in resistance and rebellion through the degeneration of their mind, just like in this age. And they decided to turn on Jesus, thinking their way was a better way. I mean, there was one time in this world, a population that believed they could build a tower tall enough that they could kill God. Okay, so don't put it past you to think that the villains of this world think they can win. They think they can kill God and win. So when they rose against Jesus Christ at the end of the 1,000 years, which was 1070 or several hundred years ago, depending on the timeline, like that stuff, they were insolent and retarded, and Jesus destroyed them. They were destroyed by the fire of God, and that's how your cities got ruined. That's why you have this whole reset, because everyone was dead and everything was ruined. And that was the apocalypse, the revelation. That's what apocalypse means. The revelation happened. Jesus Christ is king. The enemies tried to rise. They got burned, and the world will know that God is Lord. That's what it says. He burns them all so they all know he's Lord. Well, everybody knows it, including his enemies, who work day in and day out to discredit him. It's the only religion that it's okay to attack and vilify. Right? If you say anything about Muslims or Jews, you're a bad guy. You say stuff about Christians, well, they deserve it. They're oppressive. They've led years of... All anyone has is a narrative about how Christians did it all. Because anybody can just call themselves a Christian and do it. If I put on an S-vest and I announce that I'm a Muslim before I pull the trigger, they'll just say, he wasn't a real Muslim. That's not how Muslims should be represented. But then they have a fake version of history where Christians were oppressing and raping and killing everyone. And then they say, you're all held to account for that. That's what Christianity is. That's what Jesus preached. Kill and pillage. You know what I mean? It's so insulting to my intelligence. It's on the same vein of I'm not going to let people who kill their kids tell me how to live my life. I'm not even going to let them vote. I'm not going to let them counteract my vote. This is why I'm so big on the kingdom. Democracy is of Satan. It allows women who think that you can have a postpartum freak out and kill your kids and you should be able to the punishment of guilt is alone, the guilt alone is punishment enough. I heard people arguing that. That means that every time you, a sane person, have a sane, normal worldview, la la la, grocery store, gasoline, feed my kids, and someone's like, I'll murder my kids. And then you wanted to have a say in what goes on in the country, and now you don't, because for every one of you, there's another baby murderer crazy person who just cancels you out. Democracy. Imagine if that was God's system. He sets you up in a system so that good people just lose. That's why I'm really glad that we're doing this Kingdom teaching series, because it's really a good insight for myself and for everyone else to recognize the real conflict and the actual division and where it lies. Because for so long as an American, I always believed the division was Republicans and Democrats, and that Republicans were like the Christian people and the Democrats were all heathens and baby killers. But now I realize the Republicans are heathens and baby killers too. It's the whole thing. The whole thing is a liberal delusion where you vote for stuff. Like, who votes? Like, who votes in the kingdom? Imagine any time in history there's like a king there and he lets all these useless plebeians who do nothing but pick grain try to decide the function of society. A bunch of people who can't even read and write. 40% of Americans can't read. And they're voting. They're deciding. And look, I'm not no judgment, but it's just like, why do I have to be told what to do by someone who can't read? You mean, what? Baby killers trying to tell me how to live. Effectively, like infanticidal cult murderers are trying to tell me that I need to live my life according to certain tenets or I'm a fascist. You're murdering kids. I'll be a fascist. I'll do it. Like, this could one day go from a guy ranting on the internet to a guy ranting at a podium. That happened in the last century. People need to realize that a guy was like, yo, this needs to stop. And people were like, yep. And eventually he had a podium. The only mistake that he made was that he wasn't vicious enough. He wasn't aggressive enough because he didn't recognize. He tried to be Mr. Benevolent while fighting a demon monster horde. You got to be a little more responsible than that. You have to understand you're dealing with a multi-generational, effectively non-human alien enemy. You know, and so it pays to be the guy who's got the movement that's for Jesus and for his kingdom, that's for women, that's for people of color. Because everyone else, they're all a racist, ethno-state, religio-fascistic, misogynist tribe, and that's what everyone's turning into. It's the ladies who want to kill their kids. It's the nationalistic Christians who want women to shut up. There's like all these groups that are just, they all suck. And they're all growing in proliferation. And here we are just slow cooking over here. Christian dominion. Everyone else is trying to preserve some fabric of the rotten system. And me, I am A-okay with starting over fresh. Okay, I build my house on the rock. You could have the most gorgeous civilization ever, and if it's built on the sand, I don't need it. I kick the dust off my sandals from this hellhole. America, the land of the free, the home of the brave, mass murdering their own citizens somehow legally. American citizens, little babies. Now, their life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness doesn't mean shit in the country that claims to care about it. Nowhere else in the world do they pretend your life means shit. They'll just tax you to death and kill you if they want to. But in the U.S., it prides itself on being the nation of better standards. We're the nation that will outlast. We preserve land of the free, home of the brave. The brave guy, the guy with the balls enough to call out Trump's illegal war, is in jail. He's not free. Land of the jailed because he had the courage to call out the Zionist regime. It's not land of the free, it's land of bullshit. And again, I don't care. Stop clinging to dead animals and crying. It's time to bury the horse. You know what I'm saying? We rode out here on this ideal, and it wasn't good enough to get us across the finish line. Lo and behold, the government of men, comprised of men, for men, and by men. It says so in the founding document. And then you were surprised that it deteriorated into a crazy shit show where they're killing kids, and a lady kills her kids, and they're on there defending her, and oh my God, I didn't want to live with these people. It's like, look, call me bad, call me evil, call me hateful, call me non-Christian or whatever, but it's like, I cannot treat people like that with the decency that they expect to be treated. I have to treat people like that like wolves who are trying to kill our kids. That's what they're trying to do. And I know, it's like, call me the bad guy for periodically coming back on here once a week and going unhinged and then being like, the only way we're going to be able to deal with this is with force of violence. And then people are like, that's not the Christian way. Sell your robe and buy a fucking blow-up balloon or whatever. Buy a pool noodle. I don't remember that being the verse. Sword. And he says, my Lord, we have two. And he says, that'll do. So unless you've got two, I don't know what you're doing. In this world, you will have persecution, opposition, tribulation, whichever term you want to choose. And Jesus Christ tells us to be of good cheer, for he has overcome the world. When we look at the circumstances of today, when we look at the degenerate, culturally just disgusting, rotten, horrible poverty, suffering, death, criminality, and crime. You know, everybody looks at this, criminality as crime. People look at all this and they're like, dude, it's bad. It's hopelessly bad. But I don't think that at all. I think that there was a time in history where people were just completely unaware. They were just naive. Point to a time, man. The 1980s, people say it was better then. I know in some ways it was. Mercedes-Benz was putting out some really cool cars back then. I'm sure some of you guys who've been around a little longer know about that. But shoot, man, the gas crisis in 1982, is that what that was? You couldn't get gas? Like, in the 80s? Was it the 70s? Or did it happen again in the 70s too? It did. You know, every 10 years... every 10 years they got something else for you. Another Vietnam, another Korea. You know, World War II ended and it's people's like, America had peace. Now we had war in the 50s in Korea. War in the 60s, 70s, Vietnam. War in the 80s, Cold War. War in the 90s, Desert Storm. War in the 2000s, Iraq, Afghanistan. War in the 2010s, Afghanistan. War in 2020. War in 2026, Iran. There's not been a time of peace. You can roll back to 1800s and it's like poverty. It's the reset. It's the orphan trains, you know? It's the mass murder of Native American population. It's you know what I mean? There's no time of peace that you can look to except for maybe a time in, you know, between maybe like 70 AD, the Dark Ages, so-called. I mean, this community understands that. They get it. The Light Ages, called so-called Dark Ages. But again, you know, it's all kind of come full circle to me. You know, things are crappy because things have to be crappy because that's how you get to a season of things that aren't crappy. Like, people just think that new heaven and new earth is just one day you just wake up, all evil's wiped out, but you're still standing there, and now we're all at peace. You look to your left and you look to your right, and somehow you've entered the kingdom of heaven in your flesh. Like, it's like people don't understand. Like, the world was good, and the world became corrupt. It's a process, right? It's like Adam and Eve sinned against God. They brought sin into the world. They were forced out of the garden. They lived outside of the garden. They struggled outside of the garden. They had 2 kids. One kid was mad that the other kid was favored, so he murdered him. It's been rough ever since we broke away from God's plans, but it didn't just happen in the blink of an eye. It didn't just happen overnight. The first murder didn't happen until they had kids who grew up old enough to kill each other. We're talking about a process that took hundreds of years, thousands of years, until finally you got people so wretched that God had to flood the earth to purify it. That didn't happen overnight. They got worse over time. And for people in this age to look at the times that we're living in, it is getting worse over time. That's a fact. But looking at it from this perspective of, well, there's no hope, / it'll just snap and be better. And no one ever even opens their mind to the possibility that, like, no, I mean, what about just we turn things around, because that's what God's people do. Like, why is there this idea that we've exited Egypt and now we're stuck in the wilderness forever? Like, there's this doomedness about people in this age that I rebuke in the name of Jesus. This is the message of hope. The future is not of a coming war. The future is of God's perfect kingdom for his people. And if you don't believe that, that means that you're like, where are you? Who are you? Why don't you believe in his promises? His promises are everlasting. His kingdom is everlasting. Jesus Christ is alive today and king today. And when I tell people this, I'm trying to encourage people. I'm not trying to tell you you're wrong for your different eschatological beliefs, or that you're wrong because you have different ideas about the times we're living in. That's your opinion. You're allowed to have that. But what I want people to understand is that the message of Jesus Christ was not about propitiation of sins. He preached the kingdom. He said, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. It's close. It's coming near. That's his message, and that's the message I preach. So be mad at me about it or not. I don't really care. I'm the one who says the kingdom is near. Not a conflict, not the end of the world. The kingdom is near. What does near look like? I guess that depends on your perspective. Will you live to see it? I wish I could tell you. I guess that's kind of up to you, isn't it? Because the world could be a lot better. We have 2 choices right now: the pothole-filled corruption streets of the USA, or the unpaved roads of a destitute third world. Where is the kingdom option? Where are the streets of gold? Where are the standards for living? Where is the justice in the court? Where is the righteousness in the land? Where's the transparency, the accountability? Where is that? It's not here. It's not of this world. I get that. But there is no reason why we can't be like Jesus, who said to us to pick up our cross and follow after him. What did Jesus do? He preached the kingdom was near. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Change the way you think. Stop thinking about doom. Stop thinking about defeat. Stop looking at all the world's bad news and think that the world is doomed. The world is destined for kingdom. Destination kingdom. That is the future of the world. That is the message of the revelation of Jesus Christ. That is the hope that he has promised to all of us. Whether you live to see it or die, the kingdom is the destiny of all of God's people in Christ Jesus. And for me, I just think of it like this. If I get to be like Jesus, to follow after him, to pick up my cross, to preach the message he preached, and to live the life he lived, he was bringing kingdom down here. People tell me I'm wrong. They tell me, no, it's not our job to bring the kingdom down. Jesus said, follow him, and he brought the kingdom down. He brought down food for the people that were hungry. He brought down healing for the people that were sick. He brought down wisdom for the people who were perishing. He brought knowledge and truth and revelation to a world that needed to hear it. And whether or not I'm a good and faithful servant, or whether I'm rough around the edges, or whether you like me, the kingdom message is real. It transcends whether you like me or not. I'm not the only guy preaching it. I won't be the last guy preaching it. And this is certainly not the last you've heard of it. The kingdom of God is coming back to the earth in force, in power, in might, and in glory, because it never really disappeared. He's alive today and king today, and he's just been waiting for his people to say so, to invite him back into their country. We want him to be our king. We surrender this degenerate notion of the demon aristocracy that rules our land. We rebuke and reject the nations of men and their failed leadership and their failed systems. We accept Jesus Christ as King of Kings, Lord of Lords, alive today, king today. Call me monarchical, call me a fascist, call me a tyrant. I have no problem in accepting those titles because Jesus Christ is sovereign. He is king, and I work under him. His system is tyrannical. His system is monarchical. His system is fascistic. And if you don't like it, that's too damn bad. Every knee shall bow. Every tongue shall confess. And I'm not just going to sit here like all these other do-nothing doctrine Christians who think they can just wait it out. You wait it out. You have fun over there waiting it out. I am going to pick up my cross and get the job done. And so are all these other good, inspired, motivated Christians. The world is changing. This channel is growing, whether you like it or not. The message is spreading. The fruit is ready to harvest. The people in this world are ready to see a change. Not some violent fascistic freak out. Not some misogynistic revenge thing. Not some racist ethno freak out. What we're going to do is offer the world the option that they wish they had. The better option. You don't need to choose a pothole corruption road, and you don't need to choose a derelict, degenerate third world street. You can choose a kingdom, a street of gold that leads to glory and eternity, and if you so work hard enough, you can bring just a little bit of that glory down on earth for all these people in darkness that ought to see it. There should be paved streets of gold. There should be multi-generational estates of people. There should be establishments of law and order and righteousness and honesty and integrity to combat all the craziness going on in our world. We shouldn't just sit here waiting for someone like Donald Trump to do the right thing and stop killing kids. We should have the power as Christians to put our foot down and end it. And the fact that we don't have it means we need a mass reorganization, a reconfederation, united by the thing that really matters. God's kingdom, Jesus Christ's solemn authority, and the absolute responsibility we have to live for that kingdom today. If you want to do the only pure and undefiled religion, according to James, to protect widows and orphans, to care for widows and orphans, well, you're going to have the resources to care for widows and orphans, and this world is chocked full of them. And if it's not you protecting them, it's the enemy pillaging them. And I don't care how many Christians tell me I'm wrong. I don't care how many Christians think that being saved by grace is good enough. They're not saved by grace. They're lost in darkness and they need your help. And I and the good kingdom Christians of this world are going to bring them those golden streets. We are going to bring them palaces. We are going to bring the world the beauty. Because there is no end to the amount of resource. There is no scarcity of oil. There is no scarcity of rare earth minerals. There is more gold. There is more oil. There is more dirt on this rock than any of us could ever know what to do with. The earth extends well beyond the borders they've driven for us. We are going to win. The kingdom of God is coming to this earth. It is going to happen on earth as it is in heaven. It is his promise. It is his guarantee. And I'm not saying sit here and watch as I make it happen. I'm saying trust God, take the risk and do the work. Pick up your cross daily and follow after him. And that doesn't mean sitting here writing little happy notes. It doesn't mean condemning people because you don't like their doctrine. It means getting up and doing something for the people who can't do something for themselves. If you want to continue to advocate for doing nothing, if you want to continue to advocate that you're saved by the idea of just believing in Jesus and entering into your heart, then go ahead, believe in him and let it in your heart. But we kick-ass Christians are about to bring the balls back to the church, and this world is going to change for the better. Destination kingdom. That's the reality. Before we go tonight, I want to just touch on this. I didn't get a chance to look at the thumbnail. And I feel like I worked pretty hard on this. As you guys know, Bruce Almighty. Pretty funny movie with Jim Carrey. And as you guys know, in the movie, he's given the power of God, at least in his neighborhood, right? God decides to do a little wager with him because he thinks that he could do it better. You know, he thinks he's better than God. He thinks he could do it his own way and take the power into his own hands, right? And I love the theme of it because this is what people think of me. They hate me. They think I'm trying to be God, take over, there's a caricature in their mind of this cult leader who is like actually a bad guy and like trying to teach a false gospel, and even though it's the same message Jesus Christ spoke. It's the only message he spoke. Repent, the kingdom of heaven's at hand. Change your mind, destination kingdom. But look, God Almighty, right? I thought we did good. This is one of my favorite thumbnails yet. It is truly level 103. And of course, on the real movie cover art, he's got a globe Earth, but we went ahead and made it a little azimuthal equidistant. Not that that's even my opinion of the true map of Earth, but I just thought it was funny. And even my head being edited on there, I look pretty good too. I'm pretty proud of that. Holy crap, you guys. What the heck? 7:58. We made it. We made it to 2 hours. Man, it's good to be here with you guys. It's always good to be here with you guys. Wednesday night, Wednesday, trash day, hump day. And we're getting closer, guys, every day. It's like I was saying about preach the gospel to the animals and stuff. Do stuff like that, dude. Start saying bold and radical things. Start announcing every day. Wake up in the morning and say it out loud. Put it out in the world. Vibrate that ether. Jesus Christ is alive today, King today. Alive today, King today. Alive today, King today. Destination kingdom. Okay? Get it in your head and just say it. Say it to yourself quietly when you're walking. Jesus Christ is King today. Alive today, King today. Jesus Christ is King today. Destination kingdom. We should turn it in like a pirate shanty. Oh, Jesus Christ is King today, King today, King today. Jesus Christ is King today. Destination kingdom. Jesus Christ is King today, King today, King today. Jesus Christ is King today. Destination kingdom. Okay, and then we'll close on we'll close on this one. An even better song if you ask me.
Close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in the dark. You feel a cold hand. The devil is trying to stop your heart. So close your eyes and realize this is not imagination. And all the while, the King of Kings, he wants your very life. Your very life. His name is Jesus. Jesus Christ bled and died and rose just to give eternal life. His name is Jesus. Ooh, Jesus Christ bled and died and rose to bring you eternal life. Close to me.
Yeah. Woo! I love that, man. That's Holy Spirit energy right there. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for being here for level 103 of the Main Character Podcast. What? Made possible by the Christian Dominion Movement. That's you guys. I am Con Man, and thank you for being here. Guys, it's always a treat. It's always a joy. Trust God. Take the risk. Do the work. The future is bright. Don't look at all the struggle and think about all of it in this sense of doom, but think of it as like all the things we're going to overcome in Christ Jesus, who strengthens us. All right. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you on Sunday for the Sunday service, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, for the Majesty of Eden. God bless you guys. Take it easy. We'll see you later.
Reflection and introspection is my profession. I'm recklessly disrespecting what you expect and investing in my discretion, teaching the lessons, impressions to keep you guessing what I do next, man.
Now when the 1,000 years have expired, Satan will be released from his prison. He will go forth to deceive the nations which are in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together for the final battle, an army whose number is as the sand of the sea.
It's amazing the affirmations that come my way when I fake it until I make it. The truth is waiting, complacent organizations. They say I'm racist, they hate and they making payments on my vacation. I'm the man, I'm the king, I'm rejecting what you think. Rearranging your mentality, got some Kool-Aid you can drink. It's a scam, it's a plan, it's a con, and I'm your man. You know I tell it like it is, I hold the secrets in my hands. Reflection and introspection